Hello, everybody, and welcome to this extra episode of the Headspace podcast. It's at a whole new angle. There's like a window with another person there. My name is HSR. This is where you introduce yourself.
Yeah, I thought you were doing the whole introduction.
No, I know. I fucked up. Just his nuclear convoy. I'm gonna call him James. Whole bunch. This is like I just kind of figured out how to capture this Skype call that we're doing here. It's not even probably done right with OBS. So
not.
if
It's gonna
stuff
look
like
janky.
pops up and stuff, it might happen. It's a first. We're just doing it. We're hoping that the internet doesn't bug out, but we upgraded and life is peachy with that. Anyway, you don't give a fuck. You're here to hear about the album. So just before we jump into it, we're just regular folk who go through this album track by track and give our thoughts, our ideas, etc., etc. And I just say that at the beginning because some people are like mad hardcore with it. So just so you have an idea that we are not mad hardcore with it. It's more of like a casual conversation type thing. So we're gonna do that. Before we really jump into it, I want to give a special thanks to our patrons, Mozart, Linda Williams, and Super Old School 1994. They're fucking awesome. We'll talk a bit about that at the end. And I love all the comments and the interactions. So as we go through it,
Everybody loves the comments.
it's true, but as we irk you with the things we say, as we make you happy with the things that we say, feel free to let us know anything in the comments, especially things like corrections. Last week we talked about the Boz album, Milky Way. I fucking said that terribly. And we got a comment from Ibrahim Hassan who said, "Lol, it's more pyramids from Sudan, home of the Black Pharaohs, because there was a pyramids bar, and I may have brought up the alien theory." So just to like, you know, I mean, it was just like throwing it out there. Okay, I like Stargate. That shit happens. Is all I'm trying to say. So I like the comments that are correcting like that because it's like maybe I should go Google that and fucking learn some more. That's why it's useful and fuck. Anyway, now that we got all that shit out of the way, y'all came here to actually hear about somebody in particular, so we should probably get up in this shit. So, Mr. Jamesy Pooh, why don't you introduce this week's album?
So, HSR, we'll be reviewing Whitney Peyton's Iridescent.
That is who we're going to be talking about. Now, why are we going to be reviewing this up? Because it came out recently. But more importantly, because a whole while back, this guy starts hitting me up online in those DMs. It's like, you gotta go check out this Whitney Peyton girl. I fucking saw her. Anyway, talk about how your experience with her, because it's more interesting than mine. That's how I found out about her, him.
Yeah, she was opening up for, shit, I think it was Twisted.
Okay.
And I went to the show. The only stuff I had heard from her was just, you know, the stuff readily found on YouTube real quick. And then this little tiny girl hits the stage and owns it. Super high energy performance. Starts like walking on the crowd's hands while they're holding her up in the air. And she's the opening act.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a really killer performance, and she deserves to be paid attention to if she's going to put that much energy into a live performance. On an album, you know, we'll see where it goes. This one's not the one I own.
So, all that to say is he found out about her recently. I listened to like one song back then, and for me, this is basically going in pretty fresh. I mean, I got a sense of the type of crowd she fucking rolls with the feature list and the overall hype surrounding her, etc. So I had a good idea of what to expect in terms of sound going into this. But still, you look at that album cover. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but I'm looking at it right here. And, like, she just has style, man. Like, this presence, this fierceness in her face. Like, it's her. Yep. She's got this blinged out, like, armor bling. I'm going to call it armor bling. I don't know what the fuck that actually is. But it's, like, fucking cool looking with, like, the pink hair and the, like, arm sleeve and shape. And she just looking you fucking deadpan in the eye like she's ready to fucking slit your throat. And it's called Iridescent, which is, like, radiating and stuff. Like, being radiant, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, it's just, like, she is iridescent, in a sense, in the way she's projecting off of that album cover at you. And I thought that was fucking cool. I had to give props to that. Like,
that's a pretty good pull, man. Nice analysis.
It's not like the coolest album cover in history, but like it's the type of. Yeah, go ahead.
It sits there and it stares you right in the face, and it gives you a solid idea of the energy that this is going to bring you. It's polished, expensive production. I mean, I'm not going to say it's really expensive, but you know,
It sounds
a solid,
nice.
well-produced, well-mixed album with good energy to it, and it's a straightforward cover that puts the performer centered in the position. And considering the lyrical content of the album that follows from this cover, it really just sort of works as a complete unit. It's not what I would expect to function as well, but when you think about it from the perspective you brought up along with,
Right.
you know, the lyrical content, it lines up a lot nicer than I thought.
Fair enough. All right. So speaking about lyrical content and stuff, I mean to shit on the album cover. If in case you're watching this, Whitney, I come off some kind of harsh, but like it's all from a curiosity perspective. Anyway, let's jump up inside of this. The first track on this album is actually just called "Do It Again."
Come tomorrow, I'ma do it again.
All right, so as y'all who are regulars here know, I talk a lot, and the best way for this to work is to possibly go, Mr. James, why don't you tell us how you feel about this track first, and then I'll just go after that.
Right. So, this track kind of falls at sort of an even keel. It doesn't really wow me, but it stays a solid bop your head to it track. The hook fucks shit up and I do it again. That
Right.
bit, I get what she's saying. I get what she's trying to do, but I don't really jive to that part. I think the second verse, the first male feature on the album,
R.A. the Rugged Man.
yeah, Ari the Rugged Man, it's the best bit of the track. And the third verse, the second
Rittz.
male feature, I really don't care for.
Mm.
And then her part just sort of feels like she's playing a hook feature almost on her own opening track, because RA really goes rugged on that track.
That's fair. I got it.
Yeah, I know, I'm being intentionally cheesy.
That's okay. So yeah. So what would you give this track? If I don't know if you have more to say about it.
No, I don't have anything else to say about this one. I'm going to give this one just an even 3. It's right in the middle for me. It's got
Alright.
ups, it's got downs, but it's about average on this album, and it's about average on a track list. It's not one I plussed.
That's totally fair. I don't know if I plus songs like I used to because I listen to too much music these days. But I fucking really like the energy of it. I'm not gonna say it's like, it's not the best album opener I've heard, but like keep in mind I never heard her before. And the way it just starts off with that beat, it's got some energy to it, right? Like you can tell
The
that.
beats are really good on this album.
Absolutely. But then, like, she comes in, and I have to completely disagree with your assessment of, like, the hook. I think the hook really, like, when she says she fucks shit up, like, to me, I'm taking it like she's
Double
coming in
meaning.
as, like, super hip-hop, like, she's fucking up the industry, like, she fucks up the crowd, like, she fucks up the show. And I started, like, picturing this as a live song. And I'm like, yo, that hook is ridiculous, man. Everybody's going to be singing along with
You know
it.
what?
Everybody's going to be fucking bopping to it. And in a
A
sense,
live performance, yeah, I can see how that really would hook an audience, particularly with the energy she performs with.
and
I
like,
just kind of, I don't picture myself always listening to something live because of how much I listen to music just on the
But,
go
like,
as part of my routine.
you just got to
right?
consider it like it's hype, right? So if you're at the gym or something, that's the right kind of energy for a track like this to me. It's like if I need to like fucking get pumped, fuck shit, you know, you're just like fucking lifting or something. I don't really lift, as you can tell, but like I have lifted, okay, I have. But like my point is more like it's that kind of vibe, and it's fucking hard hitting. It's fucking energy, right? And then like her lyrics are fucking solid. Like they're not okay. Like I don't mean to sound like a hater but I feel like a lot of this is this song is more braggadocious. So
A lot
it's
of her, a lot of her
yeah,
tracks are ego tracks. It's
but a lot of them are not. So we'll go through them. But like in this particular one, it's a little bit about smashing you in the face with the flow and kind of proving that you're fucking intense. So she's like, go ape, then I do it again. I don't give a damn what kind of crew that you in. Showing up to parties uninvited, drinking. Let me finish. Drinking liquor while you're looking at me like, oh, who let her in? Smash cake, then I steal a pinata. And like, I'm not necessarily like going, this is substantially like riveting shit that is tickling my brain and making me like philosophize and stuff. But at the same time, if I don't really focus on what she's saying and I just get into the vibe of how she's spitting this hard shit, and it sounds kind of fire the way she's like, and I hate using that word because it's not so descriptive, but she has a certain intensity to the way she delivers it, right?
Yes,
and to the flair and the style of it that like, even if I don't care much for the specific words she's using on this track, I can't deny that the rest of the package is right there being fucking awesome in my face.
It's a very well-produced track, and it serves its purpose. It just...
But, like, even her
I feel
delivery,
like other tracks where she does the same
we'll
thing on this album are better.
We're still on this track, James. We're still on this track. I'm still going. And then, like, you just got to consider, like, I say, R.A. comes in. R.A.'s kind of does that on like I've heard he does that on like a lot of things, that like exact ruggedy flow that he has there. I'm not saying I don't dislike RA. I'm just saying that in the end of the day, I feel like lyrically, okay, like back to like Whitney, like anybody thinking she's different, she's gonna come and ninja star you in the face with a fidget spinner, bitch. Like it's kind of funny. Like it's kind of like this certain cuteness to the way she's spitting it that's harsh but has like personality poking through, you know, getting a little sense of who she is, you know. Too hard, too dark, Whitney Peyton, your music's getting too harsh. If you're wondering the reason I be scheming, haters look in the mirror because you are now is by far the most confusing lyric on this album, and I have no idea what the fuck that meant. I had to bring that up because in case somebody's watching it, specifically, if you're wondering the reason I be scheming, haters look in the mirror because you are now. It's not that I don't get the sense of what she's trying to say. I think she's trying to imply that the reason she's scheming is because of haters, and she's telling haters to look in the mirror, look in the reflection, and catch it. But then it says you are, comma, now, and it confused the fuck out of me. But that's okay. I can get past that shit. I go too much into it. But anyway, R.A. comes in. He's fucking like, he fucks shit up, and he does it again and again and again, and wondering where the veteran been, and I'm better than them. And you know what? I have to give him credit. Usually, like, when a rapper says some shit like, these people out there have been wondering where I've been and stuff, it's like I've never wondered where they've been. But I was actually just thinking about what R.A. the Rugged Man's been doing, what he's up to, like literally a couple of weeks ago. So because of that,
me asking that question.
Yeah, and I'm like, there you go. I wonder what happened to him. And there he is. And so in this case, I feel like it's pretty fucking legitimate because I was. And he is a legend when he picks up the pen. And the message he sends, he does it for real. Now, there's not like necessarily a whole bunch in there that I think is like truly noteworthy, but I did like, it's not real life, not Twitter, so you can't block me. And when I rock on the block, roll through with the posse, I spit on a racist and knock out a Nazi, piss on the body, sorry, not sorry. And I like the fact that like,
it's very
in the middle,
current.
But like it's just more in the middle of, let's say, the flossing and the braggadocious and the intensity. He makes sure to add some ethics and some like political stuff or just some actual real beliefs to like substantiate it further. Then there's Rittz. Now, I like to bring this up when I talk about Rittz because we reviewed Ritz's album and there was a comment that has since been removed, I think. I don't know, sometimes people delete the shit or whatever happens, but somebody was like, you made it sound like all Rittz raps about is cocaine and strippers and hoes. And I was like, okay, good. My answer was we go through it track by track and we go whatever. Since then, every verse that we've talked about from Rittz has brought up a couple of subjects, cocaine or groupies and hoes. Seem to be like in literally every verse I hear from the guy. I know he does more than that, but since that moment, every verse I've encountered, and this is no different. It starts off like, sorry, not sorry, like a lady on Maury. Anyway, that part was fucking great, okay? That part was actually fucking funny because he just breaks out an episode of Maury, like that a baby accusing the man that's maybe responsible for the pregnancy when they fully redo. Anyway, fucking whole Maury episode plays out in like his first little bars there, and he delivers it really intelligently. And I don't necessarily think it's like the greatest, but it actually made me laugh, and I really enjoyed like listening to it that time. But then he flipped into talking all about groupies and shit again. And he isn't down. He's saying he's not down for shallow ones, right? Like, it seems to be his message is he's tired of these people and he doesn't want to be around it. But like, again, it seems to be just what ends up being talked about when I hear Rittz, regardless of tone and connotation. I digress. I think the song's cool. I think it's a great opener. I give it a 4.25 on 5. I think this is pretty good indie underground type shit. Like, it's kind of that energy. It's what, you know what? It's exactly like if I were to say I expect kind of an energy and a certain level of sound or lyrics to it, that would be it. It's kind of that. Anyway, then I guess we could move on to Love You the Right Way.
Space is blurred again. Yeah, truth is, I don't have much. Still, I give it all away.
All right, James, how did you feel about this guy or girl or this song? This song doesn't really have a gender.
So, nice intro, by the way. This
it
track
just comes out of me.
This track, it feels like it's a continuation of this interesting sub-thread throughout the music I've heard from her, where like the two types of songs I noticed the most from having listened to the previous albums, some of the singles she's released that aren't on like this album or the last album.
Right.
There's ego tracks where she's just a badass, and then there's this sub theme of like really broken romances where oftentimes it's at like that climactic moment where there's these two voices presented from the different sides of it.
Okay.
There's definitely tracks like that off of the previous album where she's talking to a one-time or present partner.
Yeah.
And I've sort of come to expect that there's going to be some of this when I listen to music from her. And this one works pretty solidly in presenting a different stage of emotion than what I've heard in other albums. Okay, I've sort of petered out at the moment. I can't keep this thought going at the moment.
I understand. You're saying you see the evolution in her emotional growth upon dealing with relationships and the tone she's taken in this song. If I understand correctly.
That's part of it, yes. It might also be just there's a sort of pseudo-narrative.
Yeah. But like,
it's not necessarily intentional. I might just be seeing things.
It's also, you could just kind of put it like life and the relationships in it often plays out like a narrative. So if you were to look at various love songs people write over time, I would imagine that you'd constantly find that kind of a narrative because it's kind of based off of a real story. Whitney.
It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the chorus. I'm surprised at how much I'm not upset at her singing.
It's really solid.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate that on this track working out as well as it wound up working. I thought I was going to dislike it when it first kicked in, but it wound up being solid and functional.
It's a good vibe.
It's got a nice pace to it.
Right. And the verses and the subject matter. It
jives with it.
All right. So if you're good, what would you give it, James?
Honestly, I'm going to give it like a 3.5.
All right. So
it's an above average track.
I thought it was really cool. Like, and this might be like an ongoing theme where he gives it a mark and then I just respond with, well, I really fucking liked it. Because, like, this is a perspective. Well, like, from a perspective front, I can't say there's a lot. I mean, I can't say it's like the first time I've ever heard something like this, but I've also never heard a song start off like, it's 4 a.m, neighbors finna call the cops, you can hear us through the window, we don't care if we're loud or not. You know, you're already going, we finna fuck or whatever. Like, you got like certain expectations going on in your mind as to like, you know, this is supposed to be a cliche, but she flips it. Nah, she ain't talking love sounds. It's the pain filled that, you know, can't tell what you want sounds. Tell me something that will keep me right here, because honestly I can't feel the urge to run out. So now you realize you're in the middle of like these explosive fights and this like honest dynamic of stuff that I feel like just in music isn't talked about enough. Like to the degree of honesty and to the almost journalistic perspective, like gonzo perspective that she's putting on this track, where like I guess it's what you were describing earlier, but it's cool. Like it's almost like relatable in a sense.
It's
where
very relatable.
And for that, I'm like really into the way that she flips the beat up to kind of get into the story, the way she does that cool bait and switch that works, you know. And honestly, she's just like, and it kind of like, I like when she's like, rage is just a way to hide my insecurities. I'm sure of it. Got these dreams flourishing. But every time I make headway, my headspace is blurred again. And it's just like this person with a certain degree of like emotional confusion within themselves, being completely unable to like function in a healthy relationship, right? And so like she can't handle a functional relationship, but you can tell that like she's fucking trying. Like she actually wants this relationship to be a like functional thing. And I think that's the part that like this particular niche makes it like special and interesting, where like it is that growth in it. Because again, you don't really hear people going through these weak parts of their journey so often, and I really appreciate the way she kind of exposes herself, you know. And then like the chorus is fine. I mean, it works, like you said. She sings, it sounds nice. The la 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 love you part is fine. It's like it all fits this ambiance of like this contrast to the harshness of the verses, and it's beautiful in and of itself. It might not be my favorite though. And then I love like how the second verse just kind of like follows through. Why we living like this? Why we bickering on small shit? It's like all these girls, they're opening it for me, and I'm slamming ones in the apartment. I'm assuming she likes girls based on a couple of lines. I might be wrong, but like if she's slamming chicks in the apartment, I'm assuming that it might be the dude. I don't know. I really don't. But I love the fucking tenacity of just like that kind of phase of like dealing with turbulent relationships where you're confused, so you're just fucking lashing out in any kind of way. And then like the self-awareness, it's like the side of me and that side of me have a rivalry. It's not who I try to be. Let's be legit. Let's just not just coexist. Because I'm with you, it feels like I'm on the lottery. And so it's just kind of like the reluctance to like give up that part of you that you know you have to in order to make the shit work out properly. And then kind of coming to the realization that this shit is worth doing, even if you're a bit fucked up and it might be like a little bit of a long distance journey to officially get there. So I gotta give this again proper credit for like being really awesome. This is a 4.5 on 5. Like I think it's strong. I think it's fun to listen to. It's got a cool flow. It's got the right kind of poppiness to make me feel super engaged and like being really honest and authentic in like a really well-rounded way. Super cool.
It's a nice analysis. I don't disagree with your perspective on the lyrical analysis at all. It's a very well put together track. I don't know.
It's cool. You don't have to like it all.
Over a 4 is gonna take some serious.
But it's a preference, right? Like I genuinely like that, man. I heard that song and I'm like, this is as good as any other one of these amazing songs in this field to me, in like this particular like sound or whatever. Like when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is great. Like to me, like a 3 is kind of a boring song. This is far away from a boring song.
Boring song like, for me would be like 2 or lower.
See, for me, a 2 is where we're in bad territory. A 4.5, that's not perfect. It's a good song. It's not like the most distinct, well-rounded, I'm going to listen to it every day track. I don't even think I'm the right demographic for that song 100%. But like 100%, this is a great track, well-rounded. Her skill is well done. The production is well done. The beat is well made. Like when I break it down in my head on all the different fronts.
It sounds really good. It's got great audio, just like, presentation. But
so for me, that's enjoyment. I enjoyed the way this sounds that much. I can't put it another way. Like, it's also one of my favorite genres of music, underground hip hop. So like, it's fast, interesting flows with distinct subject matter. It's
Yes.
everything I could possibly fucking want in a song. So it's totally subjective. That's how this works. But meanwhile, the summer is ending and I'm wearing a hat.
10 to 16, we hit that 7-Eleven and get like 6 drinks.
How did you feel about this Clear single? Because it had a video, so it's definitely a single.
Of course it is. If it's got a video, it's a single. I think they actually just had the single come out recently on Spotify too. Well, there is one called like Liquor that just dropped. That Confused. It's not on the album.
Sometimes you have promo singles to build hype that don't make the cut. Or maybe it's on the bonus version, on the deluxe later on. I
Oh,
don't
you're
know.
right. Fair.
Many possible marketing moves.
Sure thing. I don't do music marketing, so fair. This track's, I really like it. It's got some good, like, verbal tenacity in the lyrical content. There's bits in the chorus where her voice starts to sound weird. And again, like previous tracks where I thought I'd dislike it, it really quickly hooked me.
That's fair.
That back it up right now. It works far better than I initially gave it credit for. Back it up, right? Yeah.
I mean, no, for real. I just to interject, it has to be said, there isn't a hook on this album that's a miss. I think what she does perfect, like her biggest talent, and it's weird, right? Because it's not something I think you see a lot of in this tier is hooks. Like, her hooks are real earworm type hooks. Like,
Yeah.
You said back it up right now, and it's playing in my head.
Yep. Like what you
But, like,
say?
Anyway, go on. Yeah.
The point where she talks about skill and devotion,
Right.
where she starts getting pretty, frankly, braggadocious, opening the track, talking about how she's getting better distribution and such. That skill and devotion line, it's such a super and succinct way of describing the process of trying to be something as an artist. That anytime somebody talks about that type of stuff, I really hook on to it. It's because, I'm trying to be something more than just working in an office, and that imagery connects with me super quickly. And she does it more than once. She talks about, in a lot of tracks, the struggle of, like, making things for yourself and working hard to achieve things in a way that maybe it's because of her position, maybe it's because of something I find genuine about her lyrical content that I believe a lot more than when similar concepts are brought up in more mainstream radio rap. They certainly get it, but there's something about the way in which they communicate it that seems to be less real. Maybe it's because everything seems so overproduced and I don't believe in the identity of the performer.
It's true. Most of them don't have a very believable song about living with a roommate you don't like out there on the internet. Which Whitney has that ex-roommate song, which is just fucking hilarious. And
yeah, it's just good comedy music.
But like, I agree. Very much a relatable person.
Also, that entire verse where she talks about just like being young again, not having money, hanging out and buying drinks and just listening to music out of like a car stereo with your friends. Man, I did so much of that. That was one of those things that built like the foundational springtime of my youth.
That's cool. It really is a good summer jam.
Yeah.
And then Mega Ran shows up, and he's fine. I would say he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. I like Mega Ran in some respects, but he's never really hit like a really huge banger for me. I might not have heard enough.
I've heard him like I think once or twice before. Maybe he's in the Alex Trebek diss track. I think I might be wrong. If not, through that I ended up finding out who this guy is in terms of existing. In terms of this track, I think he fits really good as just like a counterbalance of like casual, normal stuff. But I don't know. I really liked Whitney's little intro line. I really like how she comes in and like she has lines like "been to a beat." And keep in mind, not all of the lyrics are on Genius. This one might have been, or it might not have been. And this one was Mega Ran's verses there, but nobody had written out Whitney's verses. So in a lot of cases, this is my like best efforts, and this is my friendly advisor to underground artists. If you put your own lyrics on Genius, you have better search value on Google. Like your SEO relevancy actually counts because that site's so heavily weighted. So if your fans and other people aren't doing it in a timely fashion, I'm pretty sure it'll help your streams and like sales and shit if like the kids who are lazy can Google it and find lyrics to all the jams because you're talented, which means they probably have to think a bit to like catch it. So just as like a way to encourage you, that it doesn't take that long. It's like if you already have that word file and shit, it's a straight copy paste job on your end. Super simple. I digress. So we're doing the best with what I heard, and I might be saying things wrong. But I really like when she's like, actually the line you quoted there. But I did it with a little bit of skill and devotion, and a little bit of pills and a potion. My flows they sail through the ocean on a boat with my homies. Been to Ibiza, then to Nova Scotia. That's worldwide distribution. I do it. I just do it. I came a ways from a shifty Buick's up in Philly cruising. I'm like, first of all, when you throw Canada and I believe Ibiza next to each other like that, thank you. That's fucking cool, right? Yeah. And then, like, you just got this picture of her, like, grimy out in this dirty-ass fucking Buick to, like, just celebrating the fact that she can go across oceans and shit. Like, as you should. That's fucking wicked. And, like, just, like, there's this appreciation for the payoff of the reward. That, yeah, if you're not quite there yet, you latch on to these authentic motherfuckers, and you're like, all right, let's do it. You know, like, it encourages you. I couldn't relate as much to that like second verse because I didn't have a whole lot of that in my life, so it was a little bit tougher. It was just kind of like, oh, that's nice. That's how I felt. But I could get why you like if you lived that shit, you could relate to that shit. And Mega Ran's cool. I liked his little juvenile line, business as usual, bumping that juvenile women, just throwing it back. That's cool because of that track there. And then, in general, it's just a solid verse. Like, wait, take a pause, like an intermission. There I go again, reminiscing. Young man, no inhibition. Thank God I ain't in the prison. But you know what? If we focused, making records like the dopest, was a poet. Now he flowing like the ocean. Yeah. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know, like, there's, like, this niceness to, like, again, like, his appreciation to being where he is. And I think that's what makes this song really cool is, in light of, like, maybe some braggadociousness and whatnot, it's a higher theme of appreciation, and that's really fun to listen to. So I give it a 4.1 because it's this like nice, happier kind of song, and it's not really my favorite. I don't listen to a lot of happy songs, but like, I mean, I appreciate what this is, and I could see like how like Bonnie, as an example, would fucking pop off and really like this, whereas other people, I don't know. I like the fact that she does have multiple sides also that she's showing us, and that in 3 songs we've kind of got 3 different tones, and that's really fucking cool, especially when you got 10 tracks, so you got to actually keep it a little spicy, you know? So
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4.1 because I like it, but like I got to be in the real right state of mind for this kind of track. Otherwise, we could say like IDK.
Yeah, I'm super done with that. You wanna live without me? Go ahead, have fun with that.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know why the opening hook is so damn good. Break it down for me.
You did there. I didn't actually quote it. I just think it's another smashing hook. I feel like she just does it well. Like she has the right kind of energy. It fits like the tone of the song. She's doubting the dude who claims he loves her.
Yep.
So it like really ties in the main story. and it's not like very mysterious, but like as far as her delivery, again, it's like I said before, every song on this album has a banger fucking hook as far as being something that sticks in your head and is really cool. It's a good one. It's not my favorite hook on the album, but it's definitely a great hook. Yeah, as far as the song, I like how it's like the guy versus girl dynamic that you brought up earlier. So it's cool. So it's cool to hear it though. Like I don't know.
It works really well to maintain your interest throughout the track.
And like Cryptic Wisdom, I've never really heard him before, but I like the way his voice, that like singy rappy thing he does. It's fucking nice, right? I gotta give credit to that because sometimes you hear these guys and just people like you've never heard before, and everything kind of like blends. This guy like stood out like the opposite of a sore thumb because I couldn't think of a positive thing. And then but I really like how like you have, and if you look at like even a continuation of the last song where she's trying to like settle down and get like more involved, and then here it's almost like a continuation, like I'm only getting older, time to heal the pain, I got a rough feeling from the ones you concealing, so up and down and in and out, it makes it tough dealing, it got me feeling like a psychopath, you going back and forth, what's up with that, whatever. Basically, dude's playing flippy floppy, she's feeling like, whoa, I'm just trying to give you my love and be like a proper person and a partner to you and all that bullshit. And the dude, not that it's bullshit, it's proper and nice stuff, but that the dude is responding in like a kind of confusing way. And then the chorus comes in, but what I love is, again, it's the twist on the song, right? She goes with these obvious tropes and takes it in a cool direction, like in a positive, happy ending kind of way almost. Because like dude comes in with the same level of blunt honesty, like there's something about the way that we go back and forth, we fight and don't even know what happened for. I miss on the days we was laughing more, used to keep it open, now we hardly ever crack the door.
Crack a door, I love that.
And I know that, man. I've been that guy in that relationship, being a fucking moron, pissing her off all the time, not even knowing why I'm pissing her off or how I'm pissing her off. So it feels like that, and you're kind of feeling like a certain way, and you're not happy with the situation.
I think most people, again, with the way that they speak in such honest, open, human terms,
but they're like self-aware, right?
Yeah, of course. They're aware of what's going on. They're aware of their own positions, but everybody's been in that position at one point in their life.
If you're self-aware, that's where I was going with that. So I think that they do appeal to people who like care about being self-aware and who care about like honesty. And if you really care about the reals, like you're really one of those, I think that's what they're selling you here, is honest emotion, which is my favorite thing in fucking music. I don't know. I like the fact that like as he progresses his verse, it's like ain't fishing for no compliments amidst the complicatedness. I hate it when I'm jaded when you're sobbing. Like damn, I'm not the worst, but I'm close to it. And it goes on a bit. The question: if I'll ever put you over anybody, anything, I'm gonna say yeah, because I know that it's gonna take time, but I'm putting in the work. Like
it's great.
But like you have this guy who's like, I'm a bit of a stupid fuck. I understand that and whatever. But, like, if you're willing to be a little bit patient with me, I understand where I'm at in life and all that other crap, I'll get there. And I'm like, that's the sweetest shit ever. This is the kind of twisted, honest romance that most millennials probably have dealt with. The beat's fine and shit. It's not my favorite one, but it's good. The song was like...
It just sits there and it elevates the lyrics. It's not... The beat on this track feels like it is definitely playing second fiddle.
Yeah.
A lot of beats on this album feel like I want to hear the beat sometimes more than the lyrics, but this one really works to just make the lyrics stand and feel comprehensible. It never gets too complicated or overwhelms what is being said.
Fair. Yeah. I give it a 4.25. I like it. I think it's a good song. It's like what I would call the average of this album.
I mean, your average, definitely. I'm going to sit at about a 3.75 to a 4 on this one.
Which is like your average. Like I'm saying, this is like the average of what this album is. It's not the best. It's just like this is like a good representation of what this album's sound would be.
Yeah, it's a good representation of one dynamic of the album.
You get the point. Anyway, So you give it that, and we can bounce.
They feeling my bounce. Bitch, they feeling my bounce. They feeling my.
So how do you feel about this one?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I really like it.
This is the other sound on the album, if you want to play fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's her ego track. It's not. I don't know if I like it more or less than some of the other ego tracks she's done, but it's a really solid, like, sort of like playing with a mainstream sound, but putting her nerdy, self-confident, alternative energy into it.
I believe she calls it the bounce.
Yes, she does put her bounce into it.
That is what she calls it.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good way to put it. What did you think of Underrated and Wrekonize?
I don't know which one's which.
I'm pretty sure Wrekonize is the third guy, and Underrated is the second guy. Because Wrekonize does the singy stuff that sounds like Mayday. So I'm pretty sure. Feel free to criticize me in the comments if I'm wrong. But I did try to like match the voices and whatnot and listen to a couple other tracks. So I'm pretty sure I'm right on this one. But yeah, I really like the hook, man. I like the way she's like, they like the way you dress, your walk, your style. Fuck that. I got the bounce. Like she's like, you can have all that crap. Like you can go be that person. I'm gonna go focus on my shit, my flow, my energy. You know. I like it. Like
it's got this really great build at the beginning where you've got that like they're feeling my bounce, right? With the slowly building up music before she gets right into her chorus. I'm sorry, her verse.
Yep.
And as she goes into her verse, she gets some really, really nice, increasingly high pace rhythm, where she sort of starts to get a little choppy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the line where she says, "I'm that new bitch, you artifacts."
Yes.
At that point, it really kicks into me loving how she's bragging, because she does things that a lot of other artists I think are kind of being uncool and stupid silly, but she makes that like ow wow 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 sound work for her in a way that, again, I think it's maybe because she builds this relationship with you about being honest, that she's weird with the way she raps,
right,
that I like it. If I had heard that in a mainstream track performed by a lot of other people, I'd probably just kind of roll my eyes at it. But I think it builds on her like separation of herself from other people.
Okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. I always look at that stuff like, I don't see a huge difference between the mainstream and this song, except for the fact that maybe
You're
the
right.
lyrics are different. And so I don't like to make those differentiations. I'm cool with the lines between underground and mainstream being a little blurry, because then it's like
fine.
we can get like the best of both worlds.
She's
I'm
super playing with mainstream sounds here.
But you're right on the lyrics front. And from a lyrical perspective, which I always think is the most important part for differentiation, she starts off with, like, don't get the swag or Prada bags, nah. Model face and all that, nah. Won't fake interest in basic bitches. Whitney simple, not part of that. Where the broads at high, I oughta laugh. I been on the bill like starter caps. I been on the field like starter facts. I'm that new bitch, you artifacts. And then my autograph on your girlfriend's tits. I nailed this shit. I don't need French tips. Sink or swim, I got real friendships. How you make it off mumbling real questions. So
I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say about that mumbling line, considering discussions we've had.
It's just, at the end of the day, it's like if there's a checklist of what the underground artists are supposed to do, like, you have to make fun of mumble rap to be cool. So when you're doing what everyone else does and you're hating, you're a hater. And if you're going to criticize haters, don't be a hater. That's where I'm going to end it on this one, because I've gone into depth with it. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Frankly, most of the people that they accuse of mumbling don't mumble. They use auto-tune and other effects. That's not mumbling. They enunciate. So it's like, I don't know. It's a little bit like critical of it while kind of jacking their flows and not using the effects. And then, you know, like, 'cause she jacks some of their flows on other tracks. I don't think it's maybe on this one, but I know one of my notes is like she jacks the trap flows. So it's like, if you're gonna go to the culture and like use it, how you gonna then like shit on it? Like that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really understand it. Everyone tells me I'm wrong, so maybe I'm wrong on this. I don't frankly care. My position is, if it's like there's a checklist and everyone has to make fun of the mainstream like that, even though, I don't know, even though they don't like it when they talk about your hair color or something. It's like, you know, to me, I don't see huge differences between these actions. So I don't want to go too ethical. It's not really the point. It's just fun little lines. I just really liked the verse up until that line, because right before it, like, real friendships, like real shit, like proper ethical values. But then, I'm gonna go be a little, you know, like take a little, some bad stuff's happening up in his neighborhood.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of shootings in Toronto lately.
Yeah, some fucked up shit. Canada's not safe. But I don't know how unsafe it is. Either way, I mean, I don't want to like go on about that. My point is like, I really like what she does. I like that the flow changes a lot. I like that it's dynamic. I like that like her lyrics are consistent. She's witty. She does a lot of amazing things with this. So I don't want to come off like a dick, you know, like, and sometimes that happens. But like, underrated. His verse was a sick flow. As far as what he said, I don't know if there was anything that was like super awesome.
No.
Like, to clarify, when I say super awesome, I mean like profound enough that I was like, gotta like replay that shit, gotta quote it, because the lyrics weren't there for me to copy and paste. Sorry, I'm lazy sometimes. But there was a good Trump line. I thought it was cool. I again like the fact that these guys are taking the time to add these lyrics, to throw in some like, make sure you think about this shit. I didn't feel like it was like a sellout line. I felt like he was really angry and he wanted to let you know. And then I like how like Wrekonize starts off with this like expression of like anxiety, and mixing it with like how his relationship to music and how he's got this fire and the success and everything, but it's like mixed with this anxiety of just not even wanting to fucking be there or talk to anyone and shit. And I thought that was such a cool contrast. And then he fucking kind of has such a swag to the way he fucking rhymes and does his thing. I really like Wrekonize. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna sound like such an asshole, but I'm pretty sure that's him, and I fucking have really liked him, especially like we did the Mayday album that one time. I don't know, he's fucking cool, good rapper. I get this track like a 4.25 though, because like it's solid. It's like right at that like fucking awesome, good average coasting point.
This is the first time we're gonna be 100 on this. 4.25 for me too. It's
a good track.
I like Whitney's
got the bounce.
Verse significantly better than either of the two dudes that follow her. They both have some really worthwhile moments, but I feel like I probably would have preferred one of them rather than both of them, and given Peyton another verse on this one.
I kind of got the feeling that a lot of these features artists like get these names on the album is a little bit how it came off, because there's like a lot of names on this album, like real names. And Whitney's fucking with all of them in like a solid way, and she sounds good next to all of them.
Yeah, she does. She does not sound like she is not at the level to perform with them.
So on that front, the marketing dictates that it makes sense to approach it the way it is. But I kind of get what you're feeling from if I didn't necessarily like the other verse as much. But yeah, no, I just wanted to throw it out there. Do you guys feel like this? I mean, I don't want to come off again shitty, but do you guys feel like this was a little bit like a lot of features to like get her name out? Which is no disrespect. I admire that hustle. Like, I'm so jealous that she got to like work with all of these fucking people. It's cool.
I mean, I'd love to see you work with R.A. the Rugged Man.
Guy's fucking great. Anyway, but yeah, so we both gave it that. I don't know if you have any more thoughts on this track.
Not on this one, no.
All right, so I guess you can say we figured it out.
I'm out of control, so up and down, I need a harder uncle.
I feel like this is like the poppiest pop. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I love it.
Oh man, this is
probably
radio
because,
friendly so much.
It's like, and it's so good. And I'm saying this in the way that, like, I would say a Justin Bieber song is so good, because I'm a fucking believer. Don't you even be a fucking hater. Fight me. But, like, at the end of the day, it comes in with that singing, and it's just fucking gorgeous, you know? And it's like, you're just trying to figure it out, just trying to understand it. And the hook is, it just smashes into this track. And then she comes in with, like, I'm a little bit apprehensive. I don't know if you could tell. Hung up on past rejections, rolling with the hand up dealt. But I keep on asking questions, feeling it's a quest for help. Looking at my damn reflection by the time I ask myself why. And, you know, and then whatever, it goes on about faking emotions and how she can't cope with real people. This level of self-awareness, the war that's going on inside of her fucking mind as she tries to, like, really just deal with people. Like, this anxiety, this, like you're trying to understand, like, you know you're broken and shit, but, like, you don't know how to relate to people proper, and you know you're supposed to, but, and she just expresses it beautifully to me. The second verse too follows like suit. Like, I've been ducking the truth, like I've been stuck in the loop. Now tell me, what's the meaning? I mean nothing to you when you mean something to me.
Yep.
Oh fuck, this is also about a little bit of a relationship.
Yep. As I said.
Fucking yeah, I completely missed that. I apologize. Like, sometimes a little bit back, but like, yeah, and then like, yeah, just like, I mean nothing to you when you mean something to me. Then I got something to lose. Then I lost myself already. It's rough in these things. You know, no, it's still kind of general. It's about relationships in general.
And then
This one isn't about a specific person, right?
There's that moment where she talks about how she keeps like talking of herself and ignoring the other person,
right?
And then flips that onto being like, "But if I don't love me, how the hell can I love you?"
Yeah.
It's this self-reflection on having, like, how the failures of the relationships that she's had are all about her inability to feel comfortable with herself. And I think, again, that's a moment that almost any human being living in the modern era can relate to in some capacity.
Absolutely.
And that's probably one of the reasons why, if you listen to the lyrics of this with the really well put together poppiness of the music and the chorus, that it would really go over well on mainstream radio with a lot of people.
It's a smart move. I definitely think this is mad radio friendly. I think it really caught me in like the feels. Like, I may have missed a little bit of the point of it, but I still relate to a lot of what she's saying here in just my regular life. Like, it's still broad enough to be like your colleagues or whatever, you know? And then even like, I don't know, just I appreciated what she had to say. The music is excellent. Like, it feels like it's a completely like less, it feels like synthesized pop, like, sorry, not synthesized, but like polished, super glossy instrumentation, as opposed to your typical instrument, like electronic sounds. And I really like that. I don't care what other people think. I love that sound. And it's the right kind of like, this is what I would put on my like poppy, fluffy, I want to listen to like candy music playlist, but it has real substance, which makes it a lot better than most of that shit. So I get it's a 4.5. This might be one of my favorite tracks on the album. Is really fucking cool. I don't know what you gave it.
I'd say around the same 4.25 to 4.5 feels about right for this. I plussed it, so I think that means more.
Maybe. But I don't know if I plus everything I give high marks to, because sometimes you hear some epic banging fucking songs, and then they come on shuffle, and you're like, unplus. I need to go listen to that actively when I want to. Otherwise, my brain might start tripping.
You still tripping off that. Been alone and no cosign. Still trapped in my...
Thank goodness that Mr. Sincerely Collins stamps the end of his verse with a sincerely, allowing us to deduce that he is the third verse and Booda is the second verse. And it was a little bit easy to tell that Whitney is the first verse. Now I'd like to make one observation. The mixing on Whitney's vocals is on every song a little bit better than everybody else on the song. Like, whoever did her, I wonder if it's just because whoever she's like working with knows her best and had some trouble with the other people, but she's noticeably clearer on every syllable than everybody else that she's featuring with maybe the exception of R.I. the Rugged Man. But like every syllable, she's crystal sharp, clear, and I am blown away at that. I find it impressive because I find it to be a really hard thing to do myself.
Oh God, yeah, and it really serves to highlight how strong her lyrical composition and diversity can be.
But she ain't tripping on that.
No,
But
she ain't
yeah,
tripping on anything.
another banger hook. I've been left out. I've been let down. But I ain't
Ain't
tripping
tripping.
on that.
And this
You
is
know,
the type of music I groove to when I'm like, the world's trying to shit on me, and I need to like remember what I want, and you ain't gonna stop me.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's fucking hard hitting, right? Like been alone and no cosign, still trapped in my own mind, still stand. I can't stand still. All I know is like it's go time. Oh, I'm on my Cardi B shit. Okay, I didn't know that. That's a great line. It's a great line because Cardi B is now so fucking like relevant, and it's not a
Perfect relevancy.
it's just so strange that we're in this world now where this is where we're at, and that Cardi B, that I know anyway. Cardi B, I don't dislike her at all. I think that one song I've heard, that Bodak Yellow's fire. If it weren't for my fans, then I wouldn't be shit. If you ain't been on my side from the jump, you ain't gonna plus saying this wee shit wee. That was a fun part. I've been in it for a minute. Something. Little girl, small frame, big picture, 4K with division. I see goals. Y'all call them wishes. Sorry, that last one is the last line. It's
Love
like
that.
It's like you get the sense that she has a plan and that
Yep.
she's real smart. She's not afraid to floss her intelligence at you. I love the wit of like that 4K line. The way she's so small, but she sees the world in like perfect giant vision, like giant numbers to like match her. Like it's just fucking cool. Like she has such a perfect cadence and understanding of this, and like, it's super great hook. Booda's fucking nice. Like he comes in like ain't tripping off that, just shitting on whack rappers who act like they're on game. Oh, if there was a second thing on the checklist of what independent rappers do on every album, it's shit on whack rappers. Moving on, it's fine because he shits on whack rappers the way that a whack rapper needs to be shitted on, because it's fucking dope. You know, who act like they run game, but they ass backwards and get a name, some momentum, and it all crashes. Whole career gets sunk like a bad mattress. No progress. How the hell you ruin every style that you do?
I love that.
Act like a fool, plus lack all the rules, no success in the stressful profession game you're pursuing. And then whatever. So it's basically like, he goes on to be like, it's not just whack rappers. It's whack rappers who specifically implode and self-destruct their careers and who could have had actual motherfucking legacies, but fuck that shit up. So I'm
And he's
tripping
like,
on.
why? How you doing this? How you suck
Exactly.
so much?
And I'm like, that's interesting. That's not just other rappers suck and I'm the best. It's,
You know,
I'm
it's-
learning from their fucking mistakes and doing better. And I love that because that's
Yes.
fucking dope. You know, that is how a whack rapper should be shot on. Plus, take away the pain instead of metafine is a great line to end it.
I know it's man, you're just taking everything about the lyrics out of my mouth on this one.
It's fucking fire. And then sincerely, I didn't quote as much because I got lazy on most songs I had to transcribe on. I can give a crash course on keeping shit to realist. He goes in from there. And then they put up in jail a lot, so I'm gonna make enough to bail them all out. I thought that was really cool because it's like the dude's like, it's like when you see people rapping for something bigger than themselves, it's like,
It reminds me
I'm gonna
about
support
Nas.
them, you know. And I love the
Nas?
maybe I don't actually know who may have done this, but the idea that that's what he's going for, be rich enough to make sure his people don't have to stay locked up in a fucked up bail system.
Yeah.
That's cool. And
It's
then
it reminds me of a lot of like the tracks that I really like from some of the older generation of rap.
yeah,
Like some Nas, some
let's call it golden era. Most
yeah, Mos Def, yes. I was confusing his name with Mobb Deep, and I was trying to mix them together.
Listen, Mobb Deep is also good. You should listen to them. Anyway, let's just say it reminds you of the golden age of hip hop.
Yeah, when it was banging everything all the time.
Yeah.
And the tracks where they would specifically, like, I've heard this idea communicated, like, they're going to get people out of prison because the prison system is broken, and the way in which he talks about doing it is
Cool.
very reminiscent of that. Specifically, like the political leaning tracks of that time.
Fair
like
enough.
Mathematics.
Right. And I don't know. I like the last. Then he gets oddly, weirdly possessive about Whitney without being possessive. He's like, she ain't mine, but you can't have her. It's like, you could let Whitney decide. I don't know. I don't actually know. Like, it's kind of like, I noticed a couple of them had these like big brother, like Whitney needed help, so I came in to help kind of lines along the album. I think like 3 or 4 verses kind of had that like lyric inserted into it somewhere.
Yeah.
This was just the most profound one to me. This is a 4.5 on 5. It's again one of my favorite songs on this project. It's really fucking strong, really fucking cool, and it makes me want to go listen to the other two, which is, I guess, a really good thing on top of that.
That is how a feature should work. I'm actually going to rate this higher than you. I was going to give it a 4.75.
That's cool.
It just this one got added to my playlist that I listen to when I need to remind myself that I'm awesome.
You're awesome. You are. Now hold up. Let me in. So, internet people, before we begin on this track, I already complained about Genius.com, but what I neglected to mention was I did this after transcribing 2 tracks and putting them on the net for y'all. This was one of the 2 that I did. So I'm acquainted with the lyrics a little bit, having listened to them and written them all out. And if I fucked up, my bad. But I love the premise of this song. I don't know if you agree, but I feel like if we look at these love songs as a bit of an evolution, here we're sitting on like the most mature, most interesting one. It reminds me of specifically one of the criticisms one of my ex-girlfriends had about me about not getting over the previous girl I was dating. And just the problems we had with that. So she's kind of coming at it like, listen, this song's regarding all the brokenhearted. If you've been down the road, you so exhausted, I don't do this often. I'm throwing caution to wind. I'm offering this here. Let's not make it awkward. I can tell you've been through the trenches, etc. So what she's saying here is, look, I've been through some fucked up shit. Yeah, I've been through some fucked up shit. This is awkward, painful, stupid. None of us like being emotional and doing this shit. But if we do it, blah, 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 you know.
The only way a relationship's going to work is if you let each other in.
And then the hook, like, let me in. I've been knocking, so baby, let the walls down. I don't know how to live without you, baby, let the walls down. And then the song, sorry, go on.
I really like the part where she talks about how, like, she's not the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
and
that's the second verse.
Yeah, holding on to that pain is not only unfair to you because you're not having any further relationships, but it's like disrespectful,
hurtful,
and
and she can't help that is hurtful, and that I don't know the whole again, but like look at that second verse. Isn't it not again such a twist on your typical relationship idea? Like, I can't say I've ever really heard that many tracks about people being like, you caught up on your ex and that shit is fucking up our relationship because of trust. And I'm like, that's super honest. It's again not something I've heard a lot of, and it makes me really appreciate and admire what she did with it.
It's really like the things about her love tracks, particularly the ones later on the album, are that there's just so much emotional maturity in them. That is really lacking in a lot of mainstream music, but the way these tracks are composed, they're with the polish and sheen and quality and catchiness that they could easily be played on the radio.
So, I mean, I wonder then if that's to her detriment, just from like a marketing front. Because maybe people don't like real shit. By people, I mean giant corporate label executives. And then because regular people don't get exposed to real shit, they don't want to hear about the fucked up parts of relationships. I don't know, but when I hear this, I go, I'm a little bit less crazy. Somebody else, like, you know, like I get it. Like I've been through those things. I've gone through those situations.
I've been that guy who's fucking wrecked by somebody and doesn't let go of it easily in the next relationship, and
I feel like I've been on both sides of this like story. You know, like
you know what? I think I can agree with that. I just
like,
remember the one where I was the
it's always
problem
like that.
more.
But like for real, like, and I gotta give her again the credit. To me, the song does a 4.1. The little bridge thing at the end is like, I could have lived without that little bridge thing. The chorus is okay, but I love the verses and I love the content. But this one was a little bit too gushy for me in terms of the sound, like a little too candy-like, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that I'm using the right words, but that's kind of, it was a little sweet in a way that
Saccharine?
like, maybe, but like it just, I don't know. The content was a lot more interesting to me than the actual song.
Fair.
Yeah.
The
But it's
lyrical
still,
content was
yeah.
strong, but
like
the flow and
it's all normal.
the sonic
it's
aesthetic. It was
It's like
kind
a
of,
good, it's like a good song. It's like a 4, and I give it a 4.1 because it's like a little bit better than your average good song. Because it's got great lyrics.
I'd be in a 4.25 range on that one. It's good lyrically, but I didn't plus it. I'm probably not going to listen to it again after this.
Fair.
But it's got some strong conceptual content that might be able to help some people if they need to feel like
Just like,
they have someone else who's going through these feelings.
I mean, just to go a little bit different with it, it's pretty amazing to see a woman spitting this real shit, you know, in rap.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. I got to imagine a bunch of girls can like listen to this and be like, this is a healthier way to approach relationships, which is something I think is really necessary these days. I believe music is a great way to communicate core ideas like that, and by having these role models around, it's fucking awesome. You know, like I feel her integrity. It oozes, man. It just oozes at me.
Integrity would be a good word to use on that. I get what you're trying to say.
I know. So I guess we can move on to asking questions like, where have you been?
Where have you been? Tell me where you been. I've been going and where.
I tried real hard to figure out which dude was which. And the worst part is I like Young Wicked. I've listened to a couple Axe Murder Boys songs. I got YWG plussed on my phone. I know who this guy is. I even like the Killjoy Club, which is the 6 Mafia, ICP, and Young Wicked. He's fucking cool. I couldn't tell him apart from the other two. I was like, these three guys have very similar sounding voices to me and similar flows to me. And I'm going to take a guess based off of, and I'm saying a guess because what I tried, UBI, when you click his link in Spotify, goes to a page that has nothing. And then Kyle has a page. So I think Kyle's the first dude. UBI's the second dude. And the way Young Wicked sings, I think it's the third dude is Young Wicked.
You know,
Nonetheless,
I think in general, throughout this whole album, the order the features are listed in is the order they appear on the song.
I think that would be a cool convention everybody should just always follow. That would be nice.
I would like it. And I think from the way we've gone over these tracks that's what's going on this album.
I'm hoping so, because then it makes me sound less stupid. But this is my bangerest of banger hooks, man. This is the jam. If there was officially my favorite song on the project, it's this one. This, like, it comes in. She been on her grind for a long time. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, waving at you bitches like, where have you been? And you know what? I kind of feel like in my life, with my limited amount of accomplishments, I have been on the grind for so long that when I compare myself against maybe people I congregated with 6 years back, and I look at where I'm at and what I'm doing versus where they're at and where they're doing, it's easy to be like, where have you been? I'm waving. It's just you can't see it. So, like, yeah, I thought it was fucking cool. And then I love the way she starts off because it's not often you get some acronym puns that are fucking fun like this, right? Like, I'm the plug, HDMI. I'm using an HDMI plug into my laptop right now. That's cool. You fake fire. That's CGI.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it is when you see the fake fires in the movie. You guys know what CGI is.
Yeah, it's also really, it's a hilariously easy rhyme to rhyme HDMI with CGI, but you don't really begrudge her that one.
Nah, I don't begrudge her any of her over. She's one of those few people who can like rap the same word with the same word, but do it in a way where it sounds fresh. You don't even notice it or care. And some people can do it, and some people cannot. Whitney's in the crew that knows how to rap, so she understands inflection and flow enough that she can do it. You know, like you fire to CGI. I do it myself. That's DIY. Y'all talk too much. That's TMI. You know what? It's just fucking cute. That's what I'm gonna call that. It's fire. It's cute. It comes in. And it just keeps me kind of like interested in the rest of the song, but it's still hard hitting. It's like this is a girl who can get away with that because she fucking knows how to do it. Keep flexing, ain't stressing. Your boyfriend stay in my mention. Switch it up. Keep it guessing. My flow got glow,
so good.
and then my flow got glow iridescent. And I'm like, you know what? I'm picturing the album cover, the album, all of it. Her flow does in fact have that glow. And that's a good double entendre because glow is like flare and flat, but it's also iridescent. That's fucking smart. That's
The
fucking
line
cool.
about your boyfriend staying in my mentions, solid.
It fits well with the way that she like approaches it. It's like the way you're like jacking like typical like conventions and kind of appropriating it because you're a girl. You can do that and it's cool. But like if a guy said it, it would be kind of lame. I'm gonna throw it out there.
You're probably right.
I'm 100% right.
I think again, it's got a lot to do with the attitude and energy she presents herself as having.
Like when she says
glow.
suck my dick, I think I don't remember if it's this song or the next one. It's because she's a girl that it's extra dope. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, certain lines will be like that to me. And then I think Kyle, what is his name? Kyle Lucas is the second dude. Fucking loved it. Stay woke while they broke. I play show and make dough by the caseload. My name knowing a Plato, a Beethoven. These are fucking guys I would want to be compared to. Good fucking comparing yourself to artists like types, philosopher and mega artist. It makes me want to listen to them. That's all I'm saying. If you compare yourself to cool people, it's fucking like interesting. And something modern day poet, well, I believe it because you use like actual fucking cool people in your referencing. And then I think it's UBI, and it's cool too. Like I'm gonna jump right in where the fuck y'all been. He's like, when I say he's cool, I like how he raps. I do not like what he says quite as much as how he raps. He's okay. He's in my opinion the slightly weakest verse. No offense. It's not enough to call it like a bad. It's just compared to everyone else who I thought was like extra fire. Spoiler alert. I think the Young Wicked's extra fire. And all of them were. It's just, this was like, it would have been better on maybe one of the other tracks with the features and maybe bring RA over here or something. And then like, you know, it's cool. I liked them. Not as much as the other ones. And then Young Wicked was fucking cool. I got super fucking lazy with my quoting, but I love the way he sings. I love how he describes his ascent, kind of like how he rises up and stuff, and you really get the feel of like how like he sings like I got this one song and like it popped off and all this shit, and like you're just like, good gosh darn it, miracles can happen to me too and stuff, and like it just ends so proper. I'm like, to me, this is the best song. It's a 4.75. It's so fucking cool. All of them do hold their own, even if that one dude's a little bit less.
Yeah. The first feature, we've decided it's the Lucas guy, right?
Kyle. It's
Kyle Lucas.
Yeah, Kyle Lucas. We were both correct.
He drops a pretty fly Twisted Sister reference.
Yes.
I love that. I honestly just that made me smile because that's a reference that at this point I don't know if the core like money spending demographic is necessarily gonna get that.
I don't think he cares, but I do think a lot of them might. I feel like their fans are pretty diverse music listeners.
You're right. The second feature it's got really good flow.
It's that repetitious line bit, you know?
Yeah, he's got this solid punctuation, but lyrically, it's not the best. Yeah, and 100%, you're right about the last one, the delivery.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
You should check him out.
Certainly will at this point. This is the first time I've heard him. on this album, and I super dig it. I think towards the end of this song, however, that the "Where You Been" kind of grows on my nerves between verses.
That's okay.
I'd throw this at a 4.25 to 4.5 at most.
This is a 4.75. This shit's near
But
perfect.
I love the grinding on that struggle and recognizing that, man, you've done more than a lot of other people. Even if you've done very little, if you're an artist type and you're working on producing content and you've actually finished content and put it out there in any capacity, you're so much further ahead than so many people who will only ever talk about what they're going to do. The fact that we're doing this now on Skype and
hold on,
this is your,
let me just interject.
What video is this?
I don't know, 330 or something like that. The fact that I was able to figure out how to jerry rig this shit and OBS to make it work, given it works, because last time we tried this about a year ago, it didn't work, and then we lost the fucking night of work.
Oh,
so,
God.
Given that
Full
this
night of
works
work.
and I don't look stupid now, I'm actually kind of proud of the fact that like it went from like, oh my God, it's all scary, to like, okay, troubleshoot, fix it, and approaching it like smarter and stuff. So yeah, I get what you're saying. But
So I dig the message. I think that it just goes, I think it's maybe the pace of it is, it disrupts so much the pace of the verses with how slow it is, that it just sort of weakens it a little bit for me. But that's, you know, what I like in pop. And
that's fair. They don't know it though, but they'll find out over time. On that
with
note,
my infrequent features.
yeah, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Flip side, you ain't gotta like me, it's alright. I do what I feel.
So yeah, what did you think of this last track on the album?
Well, first off, I really like the opening of this beat. Right before she kicks into the lyric where she says, making something from nothing, that's the definition of hustling.
Great
It's got this
start.
Yeah, it's a killer start. It's got this really like subtle psychedelic confidence to the music.
Okay.
It reminds me of stuff from other genres that I've been listening to. Like, there's a certain bit of like a sound in there that gets used in things like Glass Animals or other sort of more like groovy indie rock sounds.
Okay.
That it's very possible just has convergent evolution within hip hop, but I dig that. It's also a super minimal beat. It's so minimal. It just sits there underneath her really confident lyrics and being proud of herself. I love it. It's again one of those sounds that just like I said, we're back to another ego track, but her ego tracks aren't about how she's better than other people because she's better than other people. Her ego tracks are about how she's better than other people because she's worked harder, longer, smarter, and earned it.
That's fair.
And that's something that I respect a lot. Like I love a lot of old hip hop diss tracks and ego tracks. I love early LL Cool J and Wu-Tang Clan and that type of stuff. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And
I like how you mentioned Wu-Tang and the sirens start blaring. That's just how you know that Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
So in that, I like that this takes that like spirit, but puts it into an independent artist earning their success and earning their self-confidence.
That's fair. That's a good way to look at it. And I think you overlooked a really important part of this song that I wanted to just talk about real quick. Because right after she's like, I'm making something from nothing, that's the definition of hustling. Pink hair always part of the discussion. Like, they never fucking notice what I do on the percussion. Who cares what I look like? Who cares what your friends think when my numbers look nice? I mean, to quote Kid Rock, they say I'm cocky what, but it ain't bragging motherfucker if you back it up.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you listen to this, she's kind of like going, I don't care what you think. Why are you talking about my hair? What the fuck does it matter what I look like? What?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm here, I'm rapping. Besides about my rap and shit, and people just like want to talk about this, that, and the next thing. And at the end of the day, she's the definition of truth. And I have to say, not many rappers, can I say consistently, can deliver track after track believability, but this lady can.
The whole album feels really just
Like that.
solid from the beginning to the end, and it gets better as the album goes on, which is a solid way to do it.
I guess
I
that
find
makes
a
sense.
lot
Like,
of
there's a growth in it.
a lot of music. I find the album structure, they open up with some killer stuff, and then it dips into like
A lull.
B tracks, and then
Then it picks up again.
yeah,
And then you have your like bangers.
yeah,
Well,
there's
to
like
be-
one banger in
okay.
the middle, and then it
I mean-
drops, and then it ends on something really big, and then something that peters out.
So I just gotta say, a lot more albums are usually longer than 10 songs too. Maybe metal or stuff's different, but at least in rap, I don't know. This to me feels a little short, so it doesn't really create the same opportunity to have that lull, because it more or less has less songs. So it's almost like, you know, like on other albums, you might be like, man, I kind of wish they would have cut this one. It's like she did. She just put out the best, and I kind of dig that. I also, every night a critic belittle your mental. I'm like, it makes me kind of wonder, like, what if, like, she watches this and then she considers this to be, like, a critic that belittles her mental, even though I'm not trying to belittle her mental, because I recognize that all of those lyrics are literally mental. I'm just saying. But, like, I like how she's like, I get it by taking my pride in it. Everything they do, I did in like 5 minutes, and I kind of get that. Like, I can do certain things that I'm skilled at very quickly, but it's because I put in a lot of work into my craft to do certain things very quickly. Whereas I can see how Whitney is bragging about how she's put into work to do such a thing. So whereas it might take you 3 weeks to write like a poem, I can probably bang out a poem in like an hour. And that's just skill. It's just, and I'm using big numbers here, but like, that's what she's trying to point out is whatever you do, she can do it that much quicker, or at least in this game, because she has achieved a degree of excellence that allows her to do so. And that's why her braggadociousness is fucking dope. And then Passionate MC, he's fucking sick. I love his flow. I love like the overall sound of him. I got so lazy because this is the last song on the album. I didn't quote anything from him. But he's fucking like, he's straight up, man. He's like, it sounded great. It was like a really surprising song to have a feature on, I think, but he managed to make it work really well by having like a very comparable experience. So yeah, it's another 4.5 for me. It's a really good song, a really great way to end this.
I'd say a 4.5 is about right for that. When I went into this album, the first 2 listens, I have to do a bunch of my listening. I'm trying to do something like this on the go at work, that type of stuff, right? And you don't necessarily always catch all the lyrics when you're going through while doing other things.
Right.
When I gave it that last bit of listening to really finalize my thoughts, the whole album turned out a little stronger than I anticipated it being. I felt like I was going to throw it down sort of like right in the middle, like an average, mostly 3s. But it's not. It really isn't.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to invest the energy to really try to better understand what's being said and what's being talked about, and you're just going to throw it on and listen to it in the background, you're going to miss a bunch of what makes me like this album.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know if we moved into talking about the album now, so I guess that's what we're doing as a whole. Uh, but like, yeah, I would say my first time hearing it, I was like, this is generic. But then I realized there's a lot of nuances on this project where her personality pokes through, and like, you really see it's a good collection of showing the multiple sides of like what she's strong in. It's like her strengths played out to the fucking
Yeah.
max with a feature list that's jacked with a lot of little like underground names that are like probably popping in various degrees. Like I've heard of a lot of the people she's working with. And yeah,
It's up on me.
it's for me like this album like rounds out like a 4.35 or so. It's a really strong project. I'm gonna say that at 10 songs, I don't know if I hold it like the same weight as if an 18-song project got a 4.3. Like I feel like it's harder to do. So
Probably
in like
'cause
that
there's more weight. You got to
exactly.
carry that strength across more numbers that get added into the pool of averaging it out.
So like all things considered, I take that into consideration when I give it that mark. But it's legit. It's a straight up good project. Like
I
I
like
really
that there's
enjoy it.
no. I really like that there's zero skits on it.
I could have dealt with like a little skit or an intro or something. I wouldn't have hated that.
I
Depending
don't
on if
know.
it was like good, you know, like a good one
I
is a
feel
good
like
one.
I feel like there's so few good ones.
You got to review 100 rap albums and then your opinion might change a bit. I'm gonna throw that out there. Like there's an art to a good play skit on an album to add value to the album listening experience. It often kills the individual song listening experience, but for the album experience, it can be amazing sometimes. But would you give this project as a whole?
It probably pulls in a little under your 4.35 because I've got a couple of tracks that I just rated lower because they didn't
Okay,
kick into that
let's round you out
tier.
around like a 4. That would be
Four,
like a fair.
probably. It's a good album. There's a bunch of tracks I'll probably listen to again. Some of them might come up on my plus rotation, and I'm like, nah, I'm tired of this one after a while. But it's an overall project that I put it on every now and then.
Honestly, it makes me want to hear what comes next. That's really it. Got me like hooked. I'm gonna be watching now. I'm gonna be a
I'd
little
like to
bit
see
excited
what
for
she
the
does
next
with
one. You
more
know?
money behind her.
Yeah, I want to see her like fuck with Twisted and do some Magic Ninja Entertainment stuff. That would be cool. Anyway, I really fucking like that. I guess we're done though, because now I'm getting redundant. So this is the end of the podcast, everybody. Thank you for watching it. I got my focus again. I appreciate you being here with us. It's freaking awesome. It always blows my mind that y'all watch it. But like on the real, I gotta give some special thanks to Mozart, Linda, Williams, and Super Old School 1994. They're our patrons. And next Thursday, or this upcoming Thursday, we're going to request raffle. We're gonna go live. They all gave me the album they want to see covered. I'll pick one randomly, and boom, that's for the patrons. They also get to see content early. And if you like what we do and want to see like a better setup, you can help us out, and that would be dope. Otherwise, you can smash that subscribe button like Jake Paul and those motherfuckers say. And then I don't ever say that. I just felt like saying it today. You don't have to smash it. You can hit the like softly, like don't break your phone. You can like it if you did, but most importantly, can you please leave some comments correcting all the dumb shit we said along the way, because that would be dope so we can get smarter. And then the next time, we won't sound like this. We'll sound elevated like Whitney Peyton would want. All right, so thanks for being here, everybody. Super appreciate it. Follow on the Twitters and stuff. Have a great week. Peace.